YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Rob Kim, and welcome back to the Rob Kim Show. In this one, we got another reaction video coming from Wrestle Fun and their greatest rivalry of our generation video between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Without further ado, wait, I'm bugging. First, as always, if you want to subscribe to Wrestle Fun, his information is in the description below, and the video will be link to the video will be in the description as well. You already know what I'm about to say. Subscribe to your boy, subscribe to Rob Cam, leave a like on this video. Let's try to get at least 1 like on this video, please. 1 like on this video. Let's go for a like goal of 1. All right, at least 5. I can get 5 are valid, but do me that favor, subscribe to the channel, share to your friends, do all that good stuff for your boy. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Nearly 3 decades in the making. Wrestling is the only form of entertainment where stories aren't just told through words. They're recited through scars and bones. It's where legends are made in the ring, and legacies are forged in the heat of the arena. But once in a generation, a story comes along that breaks through the ropes. One that shatters kayfabe and blurs the line between fiction and reality. Today we're talking about that story. Nearly 3 decades in the making. A spark lit years ago, now ready to explode. This is a war born from brotherhood and shaped by betrayal, a story written in blood, in silence, in broken trust, and now it teeters on the edge of total collapse. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, a force of nature who bent the industry to his will.
By the way, leave in the comments below who do you think is going to win the triple threat match at WrestleMania? CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Leave that in the comments below.
A man who built a dynasty on the backs of his bloodline, turned fear into currency, and forced the world to acknowledge him. Seth Rollins, the architect, the revolutionary, the most gifted wrestler of our time. He committed the ultimate betrayal, and now, in the fire of redemption and rage, he's ready to burn it all down. CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, the spark that started a rebellion still raging to this day. He created monsters, then vanished, right when they were about to consume the world, and now he's back, to take what was always his. These aren't just wrestlers, they're icons, living, breathing mythology, and their story is already written in blood. The one who started it all, the one who burned it all, and the one who conquered it all, and now rules the ashes. And now, they all want the same damn thing. Everything.
You know what would have made this story a little more, sorry to keep pausing, little more interesting. It is interesting as it is. If let's say in a hypothetical universe, Ambrose's Moxley contract was up the weekend of WrestleMania. No, the week before WrestleMania. Come on, y'all tell me that would be fire if he, because I know his contract is with AEW is no time, like that shit's not going to be done no time soon. But imagine if he could, like, and he's not gonna. I don't see Mox leaving right now, at least, because he's majority of their storyline. Like, basically, he's there. Like, he's the guy for them for AEW. So I don't really see Mox jumping ship anytime soon. But when that day comes, let me turn up the light a little bit. Let's get a little lighter. All right, there we go. When that day comes, bro, hopefully it's soon. I don't know how much longer he has on his contract, or he has a wrestler option, you know, like an NBA player option, or you got a wrestler option. I know Mercedes Moné got a third option on her shit, her 3rd-year option. I think this might be her 3rd year or her 2nd year at AEW. I know that 3rd year come, you better take your ass back to the E, boy.
WrestleMania 41 is the reckoning, the climax of decades of hatred. It ends where it all began. Only one survives. But before the end, we go back to a time before the war, when there was only loyalty. Before betrayal, there was brotherhood. And before the swords were drawn, there was the shield. In the Cathedral of Combat, where legends are forged, 2 warriors emerged, bound by blood, divided by ambition, forever entwined by a destiny neither could outrun.
It's always been about you and me.
Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the defining force of this era. He didn't just hold the championship, he made it sacred, built an empire in its shadow. Ever since returning as the tribal chief, he has humbled rising stars, toppled Hall of Famers, and exiled legends to the island of irrelevance. He rewrote history in blood, and reigned for a staggering 1,316 days. There's not a name on WWE's roster that hasn't fell in line. Not a single soul remained with laced-up boots who hasn't acknowledged challenged him. Well, all but one, Seth Rollins. Their story isn't just a rivalry, it's a psychological warfare, waged over years, a fractured brotherhood, and the wounds go deeper than any championship could ever heal. It began in 2012. Three unknowns in black vests stormed the crowd, an ambush that shook the very foundation of WWE.
Even a vest,
the
they were
Shield arrived with no
turtlenecks.
warning, no promo, no past, just chaos. Roman Reigns was the power, Seth Rollins, the mind, Dean Ambrose, the madness. In that moment, they weren't just wrestlers, they were a force of nature. WWE had seen factions before, but nothing like the Shield. They moved as one, fought as one. They were the hounds of justice, and for 18 straight months, no one was safe. John Cena, Randy Orton, Evolution, The Undertaker, CM Punk, all fell before them. The Shield redefined the main event scene. They were unstoppable, until Seth Rollins shattered the Shield with a single chair shot to Roman Reigns' back. They were already legends in the making, bound for greatness. But Seth wanted more. He wanted everything. He wasn't built to share the spotlight. And on June 2nd, 2014, was the day when the Shield died. But Roman never stopped hearing the echo of that chair shot. Their paths split, but the bond, it never broke. There is no Seth without Roman, no Roman without Seth. Both built legendary careers. Seth claimed every
So we just gonna act like John Moxley don't exist?
title in WWE, became the architect, the messiah, the visionary. But Roman always stayed 2 steps ahead. He conquered the beast, overcame the Undertaker at WrestleMania, and became the face of WWE. Yet every time Roman stood across from Seth on the biggest stage, he fell. Money in the Bank, WrestleMania 31. Again and again, Seth exploited Roman's scars and walked away victorious. Royal Rumble 2022 made that truth impossible to ignore. Roman was in his God mode, midway through his record-setting reign. Then Seth returned, Shield gear, entrance through crowd, that same smirk. Before the match even began, he was already in Roman's head. Roman couldn't lock in, couldn't breathe. Seth danced around his fury, predicted every move, laughed through the punches, until Roman snapped. He took the chair, unleashed hell, steel bending under every strike. He stood over Seth, chest heaving, eyes burning, but still, he didn't win. Seth Rollins remained Roman's only kryptonite. Roman never forgot what Seth did to him, and Seth never forgot what Roman became. While Roman defended his title sparingly, Seth fought every night. Iron Man matches, open challenges, wrestling through broken ribs, a broken back. He won the New World Heavyweight Championship and made it matter, but that belt only existed because no one could take Roman's. Then came Cody's second chance, one last shot to finish his story. The odds? Impossible. The bloodline was stronger than ever. Now backed by The Rock, the final boss, the man who sits at TKO's board. No one dared to stand against them, except Seth. Defiance was always his way. He stood eye to eye with The Rock and Roman, and vowed to be Cody's shield. He admitted the truth. The monster Roman became, that was his doing. He broke the shield that was containing the beast that's now unleashed. And now, he had to finish what he started. At WrestleMania, Seth, battered, broken, sacrificed his title, his body, his legacy, to stand with Cody. They didn't win that night, but the next evening, in the chaos of the Bloodline Rules match, Seth returned. Bodies littered the canvas. Roman stood tall, chair in hand, ready to end Cody's story for good. Then he saw Seth. 12 years of rage came flooding back. Roman snapped again. He struck Seth with the chair, and in that split second, Cody struck. The reign ended. The tribal chief fell. Seth had lost everything, but in that moment, he completed his mission. The destruction of Roman Reigns. Roman vanished. Months passed. Then he returned. But before Seth could face him again, he has to face a ghost from his own past. The year was 2002. A young Seth Rollins, with fire in his eyes and desperation in his voice, approached the man he idolized. He asked CM Punk to train him. Punk said no. No explanation. No encouragement. Just a door slammed in his face. That moment didn't fade. It calcified. It left a scar that followed Rollins into every locker room, every title match, every broken bone he collected along the way. Rollins moved forward, but he never let go. He carved out a name on the independents, tore through Ring of Honor, became Tyler Black. He won world titles in packed gymnasiums and bingo halls, and headline shows on tape traders' hard drives. Every match was a scream into the void. Every promo a challenge to a ghost. He fought like he had something to prove, because he did. And years later, when WWE came calling, when he walked through those doors with all that history on his back, he expected to see the man who once turned him away, expected to stand across from him, learn from him, maybe even bury the past, but Punk had already made his choice. He was gone. CM Punk walked out of WWE in 2014. He vanished during the build-up to WrestleMania, the company's biggest show of the year. Rollins was standing on the edge of superstardom, ready to step into the spotlight, and the man he once looked up to had already decided that WWE wasn't worth saving. The world didn't care. They remembered Punk as the one who spoke truth into a microphone, the pipe bomb, the walkout, the
Well, to Punk's reasoning of leaving, as we heard over the years, I mean, if you work for Vince McMahon, I get it. Certain people work for Vince McMahon and doing okay now, like Cena, like Seth stayed while Vince was in charge. Roman was the next Cena. So to be honest, I don't fault CM Punk for leaving WWE. If you are like in life, this goes out to anybody, bro. If you're doing a job and you do not feel a purpose or an enjoyment doing it or something, like, I know every job is not like somebody's perfect. Like I have a job, I work HVAC. I don't love it. I don't want to go back to retail, but I don't love it. Like I love this. I like making videos, interacting with y'all that comments. Shout out to everybody that been commenting on the videos lately too. I appreciate that a lot. And the people that subscribe, welcome to the channel. You know, it's your boy Ralph K. But it's just that this is what I would rather do if I could make the money I make at work or more doing this event. Hopefully down the line, with your subscription, it really would help. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, what we talking about here? But anyway, and I say that to say this in life. If I would always tell everybody, do something you love, you will never work a day in your life. Because I know people put money as value. Money is not like, you can't take that shit with you. So if money is the issue, I get it, because, you know, we have to survive through money, even though realistically we don't need money. That's a whole nother topic that I'm gonna start a conspiracy channel on maybe one day. Shit, we could talk about all that shit all day, every day, but not in this one. But yeah, I would say anybody out there, to anybody younger than me, I'm not gonna say my age because niggas is weird online. So anybody coming out of high school or senior year of high school or starting college, just please take time and figure out, write down, even if before you write down what you really want to do at any point in time, and like really truly think about it. Like, think about what will make you happy, like doing it. Even if it makes you a lot of money, will you be happy doing it? The money could make you happy, sure, but if you gotta get up on a Monday after a weekend of whatever you were doing, chilling, whatever the case, and get up and you're mad that you have to go to work, I think it's time to like find something that you truly love to do. I think I'm in that position right now, but like I said, this is what I truly love to do. I'm doing it. I'm not making any money that I could live off of this right now. You know, eventually one day I will. I'm not. Let me wrap this up. But like I said, I thank everybody for commenting, subscribing to the channel, because y'all are definitely helping me get to that point and get to that goal of making this a full-time job eventually. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. I appreciate that.
Martyr of the modern era. He became the symbol of rebellion. His name echoed in arenas long after his shadow.
Hold on, one more thing. That slap, he meant that shit. That was a rageful slap. That nigga
had left the building. But while Punk's myth grew louder, Seth Rollins was the one doing the work. When injuries wrecked the roster, Rollins picked up the slack. When creative fell apart, he kept delivering, week after week, title after title, match after match. He beat Lesnar, he beat Cena, he beat Triple H. He shattered his knee and clawed his way back from the bottom without shortcuts. No part-time contracts, no sabbaticals. He evolved with every reinvention. The Architect, the Kingslayer, the Messiah, the Visionary. And when the camera stopped rolling,
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, the Messiah is one gimmick that that if he was to turn heel, I need him to bring that back. Because to be honest, I don't think the Messiah gimmick lasted long. Like, it would maybe lasted like less than a year, bro. I don't think that was the Messiah literally transitioned to the Visionary. And also, yeah, I don't know if Seth, we're going to get a heel Seth. We probably are eventually, because I feel like we're heading towards that. But yeah, we need to see the Messiah one more time.
He stayed behind, carried the show, kept the company breathing. While Punk's face was plastered on signs and shirts, Rollins was standing in the ring, bleeding for a crowd that never chanted his name loud enough. He was the pulse, the backbone, the overlooked heartbeat. And then Punk came back, a sold-out crowd, a deafening ovation. The impossible had happened. The prodigal son returned. The world rejoiced, but not Rollins. He didn't cheer. He didn't smile. He didn't welcome him home. He walked to the ropes, looked him in the eyes, and said the words that had lived in his chest for 20 years. You don't belong here. Because this was never about a match. It was about betrayal. It was about the man who walked away from the company Seth broke his body to protect. The man who said WWE should burn. The same WWE that gave Seth everything. The same company that fed his family. CM Punk walked out when the
Again, I think Punk's emotion towards WWE doesn't have to do with WWE and the people that worked there. It's just the person that owned it at the time. We all know he don't like Vince, so I don't think that Punk literally was aiming at the people that he obviously he's gonna take shots as a company, but the person that the real shots is for Vince. Like they were always for Vince. Like anything that Punk, Vince, maybe Triple H at the time, maybe Stephanie and Shane, who knows? I don't think so. But just the Vince McMahon family at that time, mostly Vince though. Seth, bro. You know how John Cena turned heel, he says it's our fault. If Seth Rollins was to come out and say, yo, y'all the reason why I turned heel, I would not blame him for saying that, because people chanted CM Punk's name, and I have nothing against CM Punk. That's one of my guys. And I'm just saying this to make a statement. A point actually. CM Punk name's been chanted for the last, how long he been going? Almost 10 years since he been going, and then he went to another company before coming back to WWE. If I was Seth Rollins, or if I was booking Seth Rollins, I would have Seth Rollins turn heel the night of WrestleMania, or the Raw after WrestleMania. You know why? Because exactly what's in this video is literally why I would like put Seth as heel. Like Seth has given his all to the fans, to the company, good or bad, and CM Punk comes through the door and everybody acts like nothing happens. It's fuel for him to actually be a heel. When in Cena case, yes, Cena has legit reason for turning heel, because legitimately there's kids that love him, there's adults that hate him. I was the kids that, were John Cena fan, and there was adults that were Stone Cold, Rock, Attitude Era fans, but that's they didn't have Cena be the guy for you guys. They wanted to have the next person that's going to carry the next generation of wrestling fans. That's why some of y'all got to understand, even though Vince's tactics are bad at pushing it towards everybody, like pushing Roman down people's throat, pushing Cena, like I get it, but you have to think, like they're trying to create, it's an endless cycle of fans. Like they're trying to build new fans, the next generation of fans. Like I'm part of the Cena era. Cena, Randy, Edge, Batista, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, all that stuff. I'm part of that era, that time. The Ruthless Aggressors era is my era. The PG era, there's a bunch of kids that love Roman. There's a bunch of kids that love Seth. There's a bunch of kids that love Ambrose to where he left. A bunch of kids that love, who I say is the top PG person who would push, even though Triple H and them was still there, but there's a bunch of kids that grew up in the PG, like Randy still, like Guy Cena still, like, but there's a new generation that look at that the way I look at John Cena, that looks at Roman, that look at Seth like that. And there's a generation that still looks at Stone Cold and The Rock like, yo, those are my guys. Like it's just y'all gotta understand, as wrestling fans, it's always gonna be for the next up and coming generation of wrestling fans. Like this next generation, Roman's their guy. Like that's the bottom line. Like, yes, I get a lot of people didn't want him to be pushed as a face and forced and all this shit, but it's not for y'all. For the next generation. Like it's not for us. Like I get it, but they had to put somebody as the guy for the next coming group or crop of children that's watching, becoming, and loving wrestling as a whole. Like I know for me, Cena was that guy. Rey Mysterio. I didn't really get too much of Eddie before he passed away, which is unfortunate because Eddie Guerrero is, watching old Eddie matches and stuff like that. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, I know it's tough to talk about Chris, but yeah.
Company needed him most. Seth Rollins stayed, and the space between them only grew wider. This was never a feud scripted on a whiteboard. This isn't a storyline crafted in a creative meeting. You can hear it in Rollins' voice, see it in his eyes. This isn't performance, it's revulsion. It's venom that's aged like wine. He didn't hide it, not in interviews, not at press conferences. He called Punk a cancer, called him selfish, said he only came back because he needed attention. And Punk, he didn't fire back, not right away, but he never forgot. Because one way or another, they were going to collide. The man who shaped an era, the man who lived through it, the ghost who walked out, the soldier who stayed. And when the time came, when Punk finally returned to the ring, he stood face to face with the two men who defined the empire he abandoned. Roman Reigns, the creation of Paul Heyman. Seth Rollins, the product of his own rejection. But the story runs deeper. Back in 2012, CM Punk was the reigning WWE champion. Nearly a year into his historic reign, he pitched an idea to protect the title, bring up 3 guys from NXT, turn them into mercenaries, let them guard his crown. The company agreed, and the names were etched into history. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, The Shield. CM Punk gave them their shot, handpicked them, paved their way, and once they exploded into the spotlight, he stepped aside and let them run. That history never went away. It turned into a weapon. Every time Punk...
Even though he's forgetting that the part where they were supposed to be his bodyguards never happened, really. They just really became mercenaries for themselves or whoever. I don't even remember who they was just causing chaos. That's all I remember. Like, I hate how NXT is trying to do that with their new little shield of 4 men. Like, I don't like that, bro. I don't like that they try, and y'all didn't even give it enough time for y'all to create a new shield, if you want to call. I don't even know their names, bro. Like, they put 4 people in NXT, got them jumping people dressed like the Shield. It's like, bro, no. Y'all could have had the 4 of them do that shit, but don't let them look like the Shield, bro, because that's exactly what they are going to be compared to. You can't compare the Shield to that shit. Like, the Shield was different. Like, if you was there, you was there. If you watching, you was watching. Like, the Shield was a vibe, bro.
Punk showed his face.
That
Rollins remembered the rejection. The day he was told he wasn't worth it.
Really
Every match
shit,
since has been a war against a memory.
I don't think it's smart.
They fought like animals on the debut of Raw on Netflix. Steel met skin, blood hit the canvas, and in the end, only one man stood, and it wasn't Rollins. It was the man he despises more than anyone. At the Royal Rumble, the story twisted again. Rollins entered the ring with 2 men responsible for every fracture in his life. He brawled with Roman Reigns, clawing for a path to WrestleMania, but it was Punk who capitalized. Punk who eliminated both of them. The ghost devoured its own creation, but justice doesn't sleep. Punk was thrown out too, inches from victory. And as the chaos swallowed the ring, Rollins and Punk locked eyes again. Fists flew, words were lost. The only thing that mattered was the steel. Rollins saw an opening. He drove Roman's skull into it. The ring was fire. The crowd was madness. March 10th, 2025, Raw. Steel cage match. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Rollins thought he could end it, thought he could finally exorcise the ghost, but Punk had other plans. The match collapsed into anarchy. Then Roman walked in and dropped them both. Just like that, Rollins was denied closure, again. But it's not over. Not yet. WrestleMania 41 is coming. For Rollins, it's about revenge for rejection. It's about cutting the cancer out. It's about erasing Punk's name from the company's history. And look, I've hated people in my life. We all have. But then I watch Seth Rollins, and I realize I've never hated to my full potential. Because Seth, he hates Punk with every fiber of his being, every bone, every breath. It's not just personal, it's primal. But for Punk, it's never been about Rollins. Not really. It never was. But the story doesn't end with these 2 men. Their conflict is merely the first act in a saga that spans decades. For beyond their personal vendetta lies a greater battle for legacy, for dominance, for the very soul of the company they both claim to love. Because the fire between Punk and Rollins is personal, but the war ahead, that's generational. CM Punk entered WWE in 2005, right as the ground beneath the company started to crack. The Benoit tragedy shattered illusions. The Attitude Era was over. WWE went PG. Promos lost their teeth. Stories lost their blood. The edge was gone. But in the middle of that darkness, something raw and real began to rise. Straight edge, sharp-tongued. Punk never fit the WWE mold. He didn't smile on cue, didn't follow scripts. He walked in looking like an outsider, spoke like he didn't care who was listening, and wrestled like every match might tear the roof off. His words cut, his matches bruised, his rivalries left scars. He didn't speak in slogans, he dropped names, he exposed favoritism, he didn't protect the business, he dragged it bleeding into the spotlight. And somehow, against every expectation, he didn't just survive, he changed the company, but he never should have made it. Vince McMahon didn't see a future in him. Too small, too strange, too rebellious. But one voice kept fighting, Paul Heyman. When Punk was buried in developmental, Heyman dragged him forward. When others wanted him gone, Heyman made them watch. When WWE had no plans, Heyman gave them a reason. That trust lit the fuse, the pipe bomb, the summer of Punk, the title win in Chicago, the 434-day championship reign. He defended that belt across continents. He carried that title through the dying breaths of the Cena era, but it didn't last. No matter how loud the chants got, no matter how many records he broke, WWE never gave him his flowers. No WrestleMania main event. No true headline status. While part-timers were handed spotlights, Punk was pushed aside. But Punk wasn't built to sit quietly. He wasn't built to be boxed in, so he walked, and the fans turned him into something more than a wrestler. The voice of the voiceless became the banner of rebellion, and while he was gone, Heyman kept building. His next project was Roman Reigns. Roman had the look, the pedigree, the corporate push. He was protected inside the Shield, booked like a conqueror, every advantage, every main event. But no matter how many times he won, the crowd never bought in, and WWE refused to let go. For 6 straight years, they kept him at the top, face of the company, rejected every night. Then the world shut down, empty arenas, silence, and Roman disappeared. Health concerns, time away, reflection, and when he came back, he didn't ask for permission. He gave them a choice, turn him heel or lose him. That same week, Paul Heyman returned, silent, staring, standing at Roman's side. Everything changed. The smiles vanished. The promos got cold. The matches got mean. Roman became something dangerous, something clean, the tribal chief, the head of the table. He demanded acknowledgement, and what followed became legend. But behind the transformation stood the same mind, Paul Heyman, the man who turned rejects into revolutionaries, the kingmaker, the one who saved Punk from the trash, the one who saved Roman from disaster. But between Punk and Roman, there was more than Heyman. Because when Roman lost his empire and vanished, it was Punk who stepped up to defend Heyman, and when Roman returned to wage war against the new blood.
The fact that it took Roman to threaten to leave for Vince to say, okay, be healed. Go ahead, be healed. We need you. Like, bro, and you see how well it went. That's how you know Vince was losing his touch slowly. Like, for it to take you that long to realize it wasn't working as him being a face, and for him to threaten to leave for you to say, okay, like, bro, you should have been did that. Like,
it was
what?
Punk who offered a helping hand, but Punk doesn't help without purpose. After the match, he whispered something in Heyman's ear, a debt, a favor owed, and between these men, favors carry weight. There's no friendship left, no mentorship, just violence, just power, just hatred. Punk sees Roman as a corporate project, a man handed the keys to a kingdom Punk was never allowed to enter, a symbol of everything he tried to destroy. And Roman sees Punk as a ghost, a fossil, a man who walked away, and now wants the spotlight back. On SmackDown, during the contract signing, all 3 men sat at the table, but Punk kept flipping pages, searching for something more, something stolen. That's when Heyman leaned in close and whispered the thing Punk had chased for 2 decades.
You get to live your dream WrestleMania main eventer.
Tears filled Punk's eyes. A moment, 20 years in the making. CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, Roman Reigns, the original tribal chief. And standing between them, Seth freakin' Rollins, the final boss of hatred, a fight between brothers, forged in the same fire, a battle more bitter than blood, and a war to carry Heyman's legacy. Only one man will be left standing, but history? History will never be the same. Here's a wild theory. What if Heyman betrays them both, and aligns with Seth? Who do you think should win? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us reach 10K subs this WrestleMania season.
That's kind of fire, bro. Paul Heyman walks out with Seth Rollins. We gotta hit. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at it. I would not be mad at that. To answer his question, what I know Seth is not winning. That's for sure. I'm not trying to say that to disrespect Seth. I just don't see them like giving him the win. Like it's either Punk or Reigns. It's really wholeheartedly, if I had to pick, I'm picking CM Punk, just because it's about him main eventing WrestleMania, and this is his first one, so why not just give him the dub over them two? Why the fuck not? But I would definitely give him the dub. But yeah, leave in the comments below of this video. Shout out to WrestleFun for the great video, the great production that you did the time you took out. So let's give him a clap. Indeed. Shout out to him. Subscribe to the channel. All the information down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Like I said earlier, I appreciate everybody commenting, all the new subscribers. I appreciate all y'all for keeping how do I say this, for keeping the dream alive, for motivating me to keep pushing, to get that silver plaque, and to go from silver to gold to diamond to whatever the next is after diamond. I think it's ruby or whatever. But to keep a dream that I had in 10th grade alive. I appreciate y'all for watching. As always, keep doing your thing, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart, and always make it make sense. I'll see y'all in the next video. Safety.